This video is called Race Trader and what it means to be a race trader today. Okay, let's start off by all agreeing that it has to do with culture. The Ku Klux Klan was made to make sure the Bible was told in a way that was white. The reason why there weren't a lot more black people lynched is because a good percentage of them were political dissidents who were arguing about the whites' narrative of the Bible. This is the untold story of Christianity in this country. Every black person from the South knows that I'm right. Every black person from the South knows that the real reason Martin Luther King was killed was because he represented black Christianity. Once people saw the Spirit of God in a black person, white people pale in comparison. Now think for 1 second, put all racism aside. If you're white, you need to stop thinking of yourself as superior and think from someone with no racist point of view like me. Think about it. Who are the passionate preachers? Some white guy preaching to a bunch of rich people in Beverly Hills? Or some black passionate preacher in the South who sounds like Martin Luther King? Some Bill Gates guy talking about God? Or some Martin Luther King guy? And we all know, as you apply this historically and put things into context, there's no way the Jews were anything but black. How are less intense, less spiritual people to the point where we all know like this, okay? Gonna teach the most spiritual people about God. You see what I mean? So when you look at this thing from different angles, they had to be black. Even if I didn't know anything else about the Bible, you just told me what kinds of people they were and what they were saying. And I study every culture. Yes, obviously they were black. There wasn't a single thing about them that would suggest otherwise. Their names, their language, their location. You put things into context. So what it means to be a race traitor is to deny. First of all, the biggest way to betray a race is to deny your own culture and say that it's white culture. To take an Afro-Asiatic language like Hebrew and pretend that it is actually white culture. Okay, when you wear berets and you're a communist, which comes from Germany, whereas the Bible is Afro-Asiatic, we're talking Africa and Israel for the most part, right? So the message that came from Africa to Europe versus the message that came from Europe to black people, okay? Who's the white? Obviously the Greco-Roman beret, even a French word, a beret, is the whiter person, right? Obviously, you don't see these communist movements really take hold in Africa. They started really in America and Europe first, right? And as a result, there are non-African, they are strangers to Africa. When Mengistu tried to take over, very few people liked it because we are not inherently communist. That is some sick Western kind of, white Jew bullshit. We are African spiritual people. To be a race trader means to betray your culture. To be a race trader means to betray your prince. Think about it. Now, I'm not the prince of all Africa. I don't walk around with pure gold or something, But I am from the unbroken line of Judah. I'm not an African American who cannot claim what I claim, okay? They are slaves. Let me read from the Bible for all you Israelites who don't understand. Matthew 10, 24, the student is not above the teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for students to be like their teacher and servants like their masters. If the head of the household has been called Beelzebub, how much more the members of his household? Now, when you look at Corinthians and Timothy, and you read all of them, you see that women are supposed to submit to men. So yes, there's an order. You see in Romans, they talk about submitting to the government. Well, what government are they talking about? The government of this world? To a certain extent, yes. But what does that suggest? That you need to completely submit to our hidden social order and our not so hidden social order where I am above you. Anytime you have a slave insulting a prince of Judah, okay, from a Christian perspective, it is pathetic and that person should be ostracized. From a martial arts perspective, same thing. I'm the top martial artist. You suck at fighting, okay? You couldn't hit me with a 10-foot pole and I would cut you to death in no time. I would stab you to death in a fraction of a second. How dare you speak down to me? I'm above you mind, body, heart, and soul. You're doing the white man's will. I'm carrying my fucking cross. Anytime you have a slave with a feminist kind of liberal culture, insulting an African prince on behalf of a bunch of white people for Caesar's money. They are now they have been bought and paid for by Caesar, and just like Caesar's money, render that whore unto Caesar. But don't for one second think that she's on the right side of an argument in the black community. Again, what it means to be a race traitor is to take on another culture's perspective or religion, okay? Without that culture being African. There's only one race that other cultures can take on without being a race traitor, and that is black African culture, because we all come from Africa. Get it? Every other culture, Buddhists, if you're black Buddhist, you're a race traitor. If you're a white Buddhist, you're a race traitor. You're starting to get what I'm saying? If you're a Native American Buddhist, you're a race traitor. If you take on a white Christian perspective, you're a race traitor. If you help the white man cover up the true Afro-Asiatic gospel so a bunch of white Romans can look good, you're a race traitor. If you think it is okay for women to shun me, you're a race traitor. If you say bitch shit like, oh, he's just mad because he can't get a date, so now he's going to start a race war, you're a race traitor. If you downplay the fact that white people controlling reproduction and killing tens and thousands of us in this country alone every year with eugenic policies and tactics, you pretend that doesn't exist, you're a race traitor. You're a race traitor like that bitch at the cannabis club, having sex with the enemies of the black man because you're trying to destroy black culture and pretend that you're more black than I am. If you pretend that a people who spoke an Afro-Asiatic dialect with a textbook African message that is completely consistent with Egypt, is a white philosophy, so help me God, you are a race traitor, and true Africans do not know you. Thank you. In this video, I will prove that anyone who takes on a Buddhist culture is a race traitor and a traitor to God, especially if they are a black woman, because the black woman is the main point of conflict with the white man. They brought the snake into the temple and so on. So from in every perspective in African philosophy and religion, the woman brings us down because she's not kept in check. And for feminists to downplay that makes them race traitors. Okay? So when you are a race traitor and you are from the tribe of Judah, you are also a traitor to God. You understand what I'm saying? I say it again. When you are a race traitor for being a communist or a gang stalker, a police officer, military, or some political activist who pushes a Roman, philosophy that you've painted black to sell to your people, you are a race traitor. I'm a traitor to God because I am from the line of Judah and you know them by their works. I'm not some skinny Ethiopian talking about how he's from the line of Judah. I am the top martial artist in American history, and I could kill any Ethiopian in history. You understand me? One-on-one ancient combat. How the fuck are they from Judah? Okay, even if they were related to me, they're not the lions of Judah. They're the average guys at best. I am the top martial artist in the history of this country. And almost every race in the world would be foolish to think that anyone from their race could ever beat me. I'm way more fast. I'm way more intense. I'm way more intelligent than your entire race put together. Thank you. Liberals are bad people. They abort black babies. They're the main ones pushing the abortion, the Holocaust of black children. They destroy our religion, Afro-Asiatic religion of Christianity. And you let a lot of white feminists, white Buddhists, white people in mental health, white feminist psychologists, white atheists, all the liberal types team up to attack our religion. They destroy our black family. Our family structure is so important. Look at the Egyptian statues, right? Even the 25th dynasty, I believe it was, that no one denies was black, right? They're standing there as a family, as a proud family together, not a liberal, broken down family. What breaks down the family is conservative philosophy, the white conservative philosophy, and the white eugenic liberal progressive application of that philosophy. It's Greco-Roman philosophy. These are the wolves who own the slaves who killed Jesus. Okay? So the Democrats, they're killing our kids. They're trying to make us gay in prison with their gay agenda. Little Bootsy sees it, and he was in prison, and he's, when you go to jail and you go to the system and you watch TV and you see the different programs and the way they try to make you conform, it's very obvious that there's a gay agenda, there's a feminist agenda, and it is taking hold in the black community more than anywhere else, because we have always been the focus of eugenics, which is about population control and controlling our reproductive activities. Who has sex with who? They want to make it so if you think like me, you don't have sex with a beautiful woman. You have to either be alone or settle and have fat bitches making fun of you behind your back because they got over on you. Okay? Why do you think that is? Because they want to reward the people who think like them. You know? That's why I am fucking not going to side with the people who think like them no matter what. If you're a Mason, shut up and get out of my face. Get out of here. You know? If you have a Greco-Roman philosophy or you don't agree with my philosophy, get the fuck out of here. Go watch someone else's video. If you think Christianity is a white religion and you think Hebrews spoke English or something, get the fuck out of here. That's like saying, oh, when all the Native Americans look white and they turn around and say the Native Americans were white, and one guy says, no, they weren't. Yeah, it's kind of like this, you know? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're already starting to say that. They found some body who was a white guy or something, right? Yeah, they're already starting to say that with their fabricated evidence and their misrepresentation of history. You see, whenever there's a discovery, they have to put it into context, right? Whose context? Exactly. According to the white man, where does this fit into the white man's narrative? That's why many of you don't even know the Egyptians are black. You follow their narrative, and every discovery, they try to fit into their narrative. And anyone else is a quack who doesn't know what they're talking about, right? Like anyone who would criticize, psychiatry, or anyone who would criticize gays in San Francisco, right? They're automatically a quack that doesn't know what they're talking about. Let our expert gay from Stanford tell you how it really is, even though he's a fucking corporate shill and I'm the guy who did the real research. Yes, doing your own research is superior to being educated in college. I have a college degree. I went to summer schools in different colleges, okay? But being homeschooled as a child is not necessarily better. Because as long as you have a strong emphasis on telling your children why they're being lied to at school and why to play stupid about it when they're young, not to argue with the teacher about their lie, but to remember what the truth really is, and that we live in a country that is very racist, that doesn't want you to highlight that they're racist, or a bunch of fat cops are going to start crying about how you're playing, quote unquote, the race card. As if black people aren't being exterminated in this fucking country because of white complicity, especially law enforcement's complicity. Thank you.